Hey everyone, it's Jason. We have another Marvel United expansion. This is Return of the Sinister Six, which I believe is also a Kickstarter exclusive set, along with the Thanos set. So what this is a pure villain set, which, yeah, so this is like the Thanos set, it's a villain expansion. Kind of odd that they made these Kickstarter exclusive. Just because they add a lot more villains to the game in a brand new game mode. But we'll take a look and see what we got here. So, yeah. So don't expect to see this one in retail. But we're still going to take a look, and then you can decide if you want to try hunting it down or not. So it does, like all the other games, it obviously going to require the base set because you need all the components. I also probably recommend maybe buying the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse set so you can play Spidey against it. Alright, so this video might be a little bit longer than some of the other ones, just because I have to go through brand new rules. So, overview. This expansion contains a set of 6 new villains that players can face individually by simply choosing one and using the basic game rules. So that's awesome. You get 6 brand new villains to fight. Alternatively, players can take on the ultimate challenge of the Sinister Six mode. In this unique game mode, players face all 6 villains containing this expansion at once. The villains work together, bring their own special effects, and heroes must find their weak spots. Alright, so Sinister Six mode. Do not use the mission guide nor the mission cards for this game, so you take out those guys. Do not pick the villain dashboard. Instead, place the large Sinister Six dashboard in the center of the table. Place each of the 6 villains in their own health piles and must be filled with tokens according to the number of heroes as usual. So they get their own special cards around the table. They kind of look like little threat cards. No regular threats are used. Leave the location slots empty. Instead, place a weak spot card on the corresponding slot of each villain around the dashboard. So they're going to get a weak spot, so we'll have to see exactly what that means. It doesn't show it, it kind of shows it right there, saying not to put anything there. Take the Sinister Six Master Plan deck, shuffle it, place it face down next to the random location. Randomly place 2 of the villains' game pieces that in that location. Okay, so number 2. Okay, so put 2 in each location. Gotcha. 2, 2, and 2. Opposite of your guys. In this mode, villains must always be placed on top of the location's end of turn effect slots. Alright. Villain's turn. The villain starts the game under pressure, which means from the beginning, the master plan on the story after every 2 turns. Alright, so it's already a hard mode. Each master plan card shows all Sinister Six in a column in different orders. When the card is played, activate the descending order. When the card is played, activate in descending order the 2 topmost villains listed that have not been defeated. One of the topmost villains has already been defeated. Move to the next villain. The top villain moves clockwise a number of locations indicated on a card. Their BAM effect is listed on the Sinister Six dashboard, then adds 1 thug token to their location. The next villain also moves counterclockwise a number of locations, activates their BAM, add 1 civilian. Only 1 villain left to perform both activities every turn. Okay, so it's showing there, this one would be cards played. Mysterio moves 1, does his BAM, and then he does number 1 spot, which would be place a villain. Then Electro would go, he'd move 1, do his BAM, and place 1 civilian. When villains move, their pieces always placed on top of their location end effect slot, just to show that the location effect cannot be used by heroes, as long as there are any villains on top of it. Heroes can only use end effect locations that are completely free of villains. Okay, that's kind of cool. It sort of mimics the Green Goblin's effect too, because the Green Goblin doesn't start with threats in the Spider-Verse set. He slowly places them. So you start out the game having access to a bunch of the end of game or the end of turn location abilities. And this one's going to be the same way. You're going to potentially have some of these locations available early on. So that's kind of cool. Defeat the Sinister Six. While players don't need to complete missions in this mode, each villain can only take damage once their weak spot has been found. Each villain has a weak spot on their card section of the dashboard, showing different combination of 3 actions. During their turn, a hero in the same location as a villain use actions in order to place the same token in a corresponding slot. They also use wild symbols or special effects. Once those slots in the villain spot have been filled, the card is removed and the villain can now be damaged. Once the villain is defeated, place your character piece on the center of the board. They are ignored on the master plan, and any special rules related to them no longer apply. Once Mysterio is defeated, heroes with crisis tokens no longer play their cards randomly. Winning and losing. Heroes win if they defeat all 6 villains. Heroes lose. The villain must draw a master plan, but their deck is empty. Alright, this is a pretty intense new mode. But let's jump into it. It's also awesome, though, that they could have just made this a special Sinister Six mode and just left it. And that would have been that. But it's really cool that they made it so it's like, okay, here's the 6 characters, and then now you can play them all regular too, so you can include them in any other version of the game. So that's really neat. What would definitely be cool, and if they release like little like triangle cards here, then you could place over these, so you could add other villains in there. That would definitely be neat. So you can play more modes like this. So, special overflow ability. If one or more civilian or thugs can't be added to a location, draw another master plan, add it face down to the story. So it speeds it up, but they don't do any extra effects. When a hero is KO'd, no BAM effect activates, instead add another master plan. So it just speeds everything up. Mysterio has a special ability. Heroes with any crisis tokens must play their hero cards randomly on their turn, then they discard the crisis token. Oh, I hate that. Vulture says, when he would take damage if he has any civilians or thugs tokens, ignore any damage. He would take this turn, move those tokens to his location. Alright, so let's look at some of their special effects. Vulture, bam. If there are any tokens in Vulture's location, move all of them to this dashboard. That shows how much health they get. Electro, deal 1 damage to each hero in both locations adjacent to Electro. Sandman, Sandman gains 1 health. He may go above his starting value. Deal 1 damage to each hero in his location. Craving, deal 2 damage to the first lone hero, going clockwise from Craven's location. If there are no lone heroes, add 2 civilians to Craven's location instead. Mysterio, give 1 crisis token to each hero in Mysterio's location. And Dr. Octopus, place 1 crisis token on Dr. Octopus's location, then deal 1 damage to all heroes in all locations with any crisis tokens. Interesting. Alright, let's jump into the meat of these guys, see what we got. So now we kind of see what they do there. So before I actually go into that, let's look at their Sinister Six Master Plan deck, if I can find it. I think it's in this one. Alright, hate taking these plastics off. Alright, so we're going to look at those guys second. Alright, so we have weak spots and Sinister Six. We have weak spots for each character. So they flip over, they sit on that special spot on the board until you do their effects. So they can't be damaged. So Mysterio, you have to punch him and do 2 heroics. Craven, punch and do 2 heroics. Sandman, do 1 of each. Electro, do 1 of each. Vulture, heroic and double move. And 1 of each. Alright, so that's kind of interesting. So it depends on what each of your characters have, what are good. Then we have the Return of the Sinister Six. So you're just gonna have this. It all should be the same. They should have 1 and 1 for all of them. It's just gonna be different orders of which they go. So Doc Ock, Mysterio, Sandman, Craving, Vulture, just different orders. And sometimes you can move 1 or 2 spaces. Otherwise, all the rest. It's not like a super deep deck. And unlike fighting them normally, you don't have to worry about like some super special card coming up, except for this one. Return of the Sinister Six. Activate all undefeated villains, starting with Doc Ock, and go clockwise on the board. Oh boy, so you go all the way down and you do every single one of them. Yeah, it's just kind of neat. It's sort of like a simple AI mode, because you still have to fight them all, but they don't have they're not going to be playing more than 2 things per every turn. So you don't have to worry about all of a sudden being like, oh, this guy played 6 on this turn, or that one overwhelmed. So long as you can keep like 1 space open on every spot, you're going to be fine. Not saying that's going to be easy to do, because they have other special effects and abilities. But it's still kind of a neat idea. Alright, and then we have all of our villains. So let's go through these one at a time. We'll read their card, then we'll find their, we'll read all their cards first. Alright. We have Mysterio. As long as there are no broken illusion threat cards face up, Mysterio can't take any damage. 2 missions must still be completed before he can be damaged. Turn a threat card face up. Any hero in its location must spend a single action of any type. Interesting. Bam. Turn all civilian tokens to play into thugs and vice versa. Then add a civilian to Mysterio's location. Overflow. If there are more tokens that can't be added, draw another master plan face down and add it to the story. Alright, so we have to see what broken illusions do when we get there. Oh, here's a special setup. Shuffle the threat cards and place them face down on locations. Oh boy, because you don't know which ones are which until you spend a single action. Alright, that's interesting. Any other guys have special effects? I don't think so. Vulture. Because Vulture also had his other one on the other mode. Alright, Craving. Special rules. When a hero is KO'd, Craving doesn't activate his BAM. Instead, he plays another Master Plan. BAM. Deal 1 damage to each hero at Craven's location, plus 1 hero with Crisis tokens takes 1 damage per token they have. If they can't play any more tokens, hero must take 1 damage. Villainous plot. 1 hero must take 1 damage. Doesn't matter where. Interesting. Villainous plot. Hero loses if they're all KO'd at the same time. Oh, so he's trying to go for like multiple KOs at once. Sandman. When a hero is KO'd, Sandman doesn't activate his BAM. Instead, plays another Master card. BAM. Sandman gains 2 health. Deal 1 damage to each hero in Sandman's location. Overflow. He gains 2 health. So he'll actually be hard to take out. Ooh, here we go. Heroes who lose a Sandman reaches 20 health. They may go above his starting value. Interesting. Special rule. If a crisis token should be for Electro. If a crisis token will be placed on a location that already has one, place it in the next clockwise location. As long as the location has a crisis token on it, heroes cannot use its end of turn effect. When a hero is KO'd, Electro doesn't activate his BAM. Instead, he places 1 crisis token on that hero's location. BAM. Deal 1 damage to each hero in the location opposite of Electro's and both adjacent to that. Overflow. If you can't, add 1 crisis to the location. If heroes lose all the locations have crisis tokens. Oh boy. Alright, what was his special thing? Place 3 crisis token spoils on each location. I feel like I need more crisis tokens for some of these games. Steal 1 crisis token, spoils, from the Vulture's location if available. Then move all heroes to the location opposite of Vulture. Any hero in Vulture's location can prevent this effect by taking 2 damage. If 1 or more tokens can't be added to the location, steal 1 spoil instead. The hero loses if the Vulture is attaining enough crisis tokens. 9, 7, or 5. And then finally we have Doc Ock. When a location has 3 crisis tokens, it is destroyed. Remove it from play. If Doc Ock is there, he moves clockwise. Any heroes move to the adjacent location of their choice. Locations adjacent to the destroyed ones are considered adjacent to each other. Deal 1 damage to each hero in Doc Ock's location. Place 1 crisis token there. Can't be added. Add 1 crisis token there. And if a hero loses 4 or more locations are destroyed. Well, that's definitely cool. Alright, let's go ahead and look at some of these guys. So, let's start off with good old Dr. Octopus. Where is he? Doc Ock. All tentacles everywhere. Oh, he's still a little chunky little guy. His arms are holding him up. There's a claw. They kind of buried the tips so they didn't have to make all them. Little tuft of hair sticking out. Alright, what does he have? Endangered civilians. Each civilian's location requires 1 extra hero to be rescued. We got 3 of those. Ooh, that's Sandman. I was hoping we'd get like all the different ones, at least in various sets. Sandman gains 1 health. Deal 1 damage to each hero in this location. Vulture. Deal 1 damage to hero in this location, then move this card to the first clockwise location without a threat, if possible. Oh, dude, he moves around. And Mysterio. Deal 1 damage to 1 hero in this location, add 1 civilian and thug to this location. Interesting. So 0, 1s, 1s, 2s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, and he has his special cards. Master Planner. Deal 1 damage to each hero in any location with crisis token. Then place 1 crisis token on his location. Oh boy. And then Tentacle Grasp. Move clockwise to the next location with heroes. Move all heroes 1 location closer to Dr. Ock. Then bam. Oh boy, so he moves next to a hero. Then he moves all heroes 1 closer to him, which might be into his space, and then he bams on them all. Awesome. That's pretty cool. I wonder how interesting or how it would work to mix and match a lot of these threat cards, or maybe have like a mode where you play with multiple threat cards out. Like here you have all the different Sinister Six cards on various sets, some from Octopus, some from Green Goblin. And like play them all on each location, and then have like another deck with other cards, and maybe like your deck is based of like 2 heroes or something, just so you can play longer because there's more threats into play. It'd be interesting to create some unique game modes. All right, so we're up to Vulture. This is a really odd Vulture because this is the live action Spider-Man Vulture versus the Adrian, like the old man Adrian Toomes Vulture. He definitely looks cool. I don't mind it. It's just odd that they chose that aesthetic. I get they're trying to pick a lot of characters in here that were in the movies or potential upcoming things. Yes, it's a little bit different. A Vulture's electromagnetic wings. A Vulture's attacker, he only takes 1 damage and immediately moves to an opposite location. He gets the hell out of there. Grenade bombing. Each hero in this location takes 2 damage. And, ooh, he's got craving. Deal 2 damage to 1 hero at this location. And he also has the Sandman. Deal 1 damage to each hero in this location. If there are no heroes in this location, steal 1 crisis token here. I think it has a different effect. So that's kind of neat. So he's got his moves. 1s, 2s, some 4s. He's got some big moves. Makes sense. Heist plan. This is not your first heist plan in the storyline. Steal 1 crisis token from each location without heroes. She's got 4 of them. So the first one he doesn't really do anything, and then all the rest he kind of ramps up and steals a bunch of crap. Alright, up next we have Electro. So Doc Ock is Otto Octavius. The Vulture is Adrian Toomes. Electro is Max Dillon. Showing off my comic book knowledge. Ooh, this is really cool. It's like them lightning bolts on him. Kind of got like a weird, like halfway forward pouty stance. I'm mad. I mean, you can see it there. He's like stepping forward, which is kind of a little silly. High voltage. When a hero takes damage in this location, they take 1 extra damage. Electro gains 3 health, may go above his starting value. Recharge, that's cool. And overpowered, play another master plan card after resolving the current one. That sucks. Some zeros, some ones, twos, threes, fours, 5s. And dematerialize. Electro can't take any damage until each player has played a card in the storyline after this master plan. Oh boy. And blackout. Place 1 crisis token on Electro's location. Interesting. Alright, that's Electro. Up next, we have Sandman. William Baker. Oh, dude, I love it. He's super chunky. Like the base is really thick. You can see him coming out, and he's like, "Rawr," like he's emerging. He's got the fist. This should be like one of them characters. I'd be like, oh, it'd be awesome if they made a hero version too, because he's done heroic stuff. And maybe someday they might. Sandstorm. If the harder master plan card is in the storyline, Sandman cannot take damage. Heroes using quicksand. Heroes using move have to use double move instead. When he's got Doc Ock, deal 1 damage to a hero at this location. And Electro. Deal 1 damage to each hero at this location. If there are no heroes in this location, deal 1 damage to each adjacent location. Kind of neat that they share each other a little bit of cards. But each one plays differently. But it would have been interesting to have them all have the exact same effect, but it's kind of neat that they have different ones, so it's still tailored to this character's deck. Harder. From now on, Sandman cannot take any damage until all Sandstorm threats are cleared. Oh boy. Oh, and then he's got faster. Move clockwise to the next location. If 1 hero in Sandman's location takes damage for each hero there. Harder, faster, better. Is the last one going to be stronger? Move clockwise to the next location with no heroes. Deal 1 damage to each hero in both locations. And stronger. So he's Daft Punking this. Move clockwise until the next location on a threat card. Discard any action tokens from the threat card in Sandman's location. And each hero takes 1 damage for each token discarded. Oh boy, that sucks. I love that though. There's 4 different ones. That's really cool. We got 2 more Sinister Six to go through. We have Craving. Craving Serganoff. There's a little Craven. He's got his little beard. I love that. He's throwing a spear. His jacket. He's got the eyes on his jacket, which is really neat. Yeah, he'll probably show up in one of the live-action movies soon. Traps. If there are no civilians or thugs in this location, when a hero takes damage here, they take 1 extra damage. He's got 3 of them. Decoys. Every time Craven takes damage at this location, he ignores the first damage received. Oh boy. That could definitely suck. I wonder how interesting it would be to have someone plays the villain, and like, they don't get access to all their cards. Like, they can maybe only draw like 3 at a time, but they get a choice. Because some of these might make a difference. They're like, oh, it'd be better if I played a 0 this turn or played a 5 this turn. Again, I'd love to play some different game modes with this. Move clockwise to the next location with any hero. Obstinate Hunt. 1 hero in Craven's location takes a crisis token, then BAM! Got another one, and then we have a 3rd one, and he has a 4th one. So he just does the same thing every time, which is fine. Like, opposite of Sandman, who did different stuff every time. He does all the same stuff, but he's single-minded pursuit hunter, so it makes sense. And then finally, we have Mysterio. He's floating up on his foggy cloud. Oh, the little detail on the patterns on his leggings. He's got a big bubble head. I don't even know how you would even start to paint that to make that look cool. Alright, Broken Illusion, which reference. Mysterio can now be damaged. Once 2 missions have been completed. So what exactly did that say? Because that made a difference. So it says, as long as there are no Broken Illusion threat cards face up, Mysterio can't take any damage. So if there are no threats face up, he can't take damage. Okay, so you have to find this and flip it over, and then he can take damage. And he's got 2 of those. Alright, Smoke and Mirrors. When this threat is revealed, add a civilian to this location, or add a thug to this location. Battle Drones. When this threat is revealed, hero revealing takes 1 damage. Oh, so that's neat. So you have to hunt down the specific ones to even be able to do damage to them. But you don't have to do anything to clear those threats, which also makes that a little bit harder because since you can't actually do anything to clear 2 of these threats, and if you're playing with the 4, that's one of the missions you can't do. So that definitely makes that interesting too. Holographic technology. Shuffle all threat cards in play, discarding any tokens on them. Then put them back face down, starting at a mysterious location, going clockwise. Oh, that would suck. Then you have to re-find it. Second one of those. Fake Heroics. Move clockwise to the next location with the most civilians. Discard all civilians and thugs in Mysterio's location. Then draw another Master Plan card and add it face down to the storyline. Interesting. Alright, so that was Mysterio. Alright, that is Return of the Sinister Six. That's definitely an interesting mode. 6 brand new villains to fight who all play very different from each other, or fairly different. Plus a big, giant, extra hard boss battle mode. Which is a little bit more less random, kind of, because they all have their own little abilities, but they don't have that randomness of they might have three tokens get played, or 2, or move 5 spaces. They're all gonna move like 1 or 2 spaces, so it's not too bad. That'd definitely be an interesting thing to see if you could like find a way to like make that mode work for every villain, like add a different thing to slot in villains, or other teams like that would be cool, like Masters of Evil have a thing like that or something. Kickstarter exclusive, unfortunately, for people that just watch this and are like, oh dude, that's really awesome. But hopefully, maybe all that means is that the actual mode itself is Kickstarter exclusive. Maybe they'll eventually release the character separately, so at least you can play as them. Who knows?